Welcome to another episode of Live Feed on Spotify. Live Feed on Spotify is brought to you by thebullyexposed.com. Please donate to them. Thank you. Okay, another question from our Australian friend is why do bullies always get recognized at school and at work? Then they went on to give an example of how bullies get like employee of the month, student of the month, when teachers and administration knows that they're outright bullies. I guess the best thing to do is to take this, and we have to split it up, because in my opinion, the school would be very different in a way than work. School, I think some people might do it they might think, or they might know, actually, because it's a fact, that anybody that's bullying people has a low self-esteem. In that low self-esteem, you're trying to build up his self-esteem, and that's why you might make him student of the month. It's also, whether you're talking about school or work, people don't want to mess around with the bully. They would rather deal victim or the survivor of the bullying than deal with the bully himself. And that's something I never understood. I've been doing this since 2005, and I have failed to recognize why people are just willing to just ignore everything a bully does and continue to just reward him. It's like a slap in the face twice, that you do nothing about his bullying, and then you are rewarding him, which in a sense is probably rewarding him for bullying the kids in your school, rather than rather than teaching him the proper way to act. And it truly is sad that this is the way we choose to be as a society. When it comes to work, as I stated, nobody likes to mess around with the bully. I do not understand why it's like that. I have a friend right now who's currently dealing with a person at work that just continues to harass a bunch of people, not just one person, but a bunch of people. No one's doing anything about it. They keep saying, well, what management says is, well, we're building a record on everything that this person is doing. It's like, you have enough. Now it's time to act. How much stuff do you need to finally get before you finally act? And in my opinion, they're never going to act. They are never going to act. Even if they might not even have this long rap sheet, right, of things this person has done through her employment there. They're probably just not going to do anything. And it truly is a shame. But throughout my experience with workplace and bullying, people have not stood up to the bully. Now, very rarely, it's very rare. Very rare that you find a principal who comes up and says, okay, look, you're doing this, and if it happens one more time, you're out. That very, very rarely happens. And it's a shame that we have to play this game of, cat and mouse every time someone's being bullied. In the meantime, someone is losing their self-esteem. Someone is losing their worth. Someone is imagining taking their life while we just sit there and say, oh, yeah, these things take time. That's BS. That's BS. This thing of time, these kind of things take time, is just a smokescreen. It's not true. You just gotta be firm with the person, and that's it. And if they sue you, let them sue you. If you did the right thing, they're not going to be able to win a lawsuit. I do want to say a story. This was really, 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 really sad for me. I had a kid that I was talking to and I was helping deal with bullying. His bully kept I don't think his bully ever got rewarded, like student of the year or student of the month or anything like that. But I know that they kept ignoring when this other kid would speak up against this kid bullying him. And this kid was in the football team, and the coach was a good, I'm going to assume was a good coach. I didn't know the coach, but everything that I heard from the student and his parents shows that this coach was a good coach. You can't get in trouble at school. Your grades have to be up. This kind of thing. You can't be getting in trouble in school. So one time the person was bullying him, and the guy had enough, and an altercation, a physical altercation, occurred, and they expelled that kid, which means that he was expelled from football. And all this kid ever wanted to do was play football. And so a dream is gone. I hope this kid is okay. I hope that he was able to take my advice. I told him, go to the next district. You're expelled. Usually, when you get expelled usually just from that one school. Sometimes it's just that district. Just go to the next district and play for the other team. Hopefully, you're playing for the rivals. And that's exactly what I told him. I said, if you could go with your parents down to your the rival school, talk to their coach, explain to them what happened. You've been complaining and complaining. I mean, I'm sorry, I shouldn't use the word complaining. I apologize. You've been voicing your opinion to teachers and principals of this guy being a bully because the coach had a strict policy that you're not to get into fist fights, you're not to get into that kind of trouble, and your grades have to be up. This bully felt that he was a weak person, and that's the thing that bullies always think. They always think kids are weak because they don't want to fight. Because some people just don't want to get into fights. That's just the way they are. Or some people, like in my friend's case, it's like I can't get into a fight. I'm sure he wanted to knock him out, but he's like, oh, I can't do that because coach is going to get mad at me. And and shame on the coach. Honestly, shame on the coach. And I say that with a grain of salt because maybe he never told the teacher that this person's bullying, or the coach, I should say. Maybe he never told the coach. He told his teacher, he told the principal. But from my knowledge, thinking back on it, he never said that he told the coach. But shame on the coach. You have to go to bat. There has to be times you go to bat for your kids, coaches, all right? You have to. It doesn't matter if it's something that's 100% their fault, or if it's something that they're telling you, I'm not accused of this. You have to go for bat. It's really a shame to me that I see people go to bat for people that have done really bad things. Like if a kid sexually harasses another kid, you see coaches going to bat for them. And in that case, no, coaches, keep your mouth shut and say, I'm staying out of this. You're on your own. But in the case of this, sit down to your kid and say, what made you, that I have a no fight policy. What made you do this? And he would have heard his story of months and months and months of being bullied. And I think that the bully honestly knew that, this kid is not going to hit me because he's got that thing hanging over his head. And, I wish that I knew the kid now because I would ask him, did you ever talk to the coach? If the coach did nothing, if the coach knew and did nothing, he failed this student. If the coach didn't know and did nothing, he failed because you got to go to bat for your kids. And so I told him to go to your rival and beg that school and help that school to understand that, yes, you got into a fight, but you have been trying to talk to the school about this kid and have all your proof. And that's it. I'm going to say this every episode. Have your proof, right? Have your receipts. You got to have your receipts. Someone bullies you, you got to write that down. You got to say all the people that were there, the time, the date, what occurred, get witnesses. Then if you go to the school and you complain and they give you something, all right, here's your complaint, save that. So that when you're in situations where you're getting expelled from school, you can present it and say, look at all these papers of every complaint. You know, whether they give you something or not, you have it. And don't ever show them the original. Make a copy of it and say, look at this. Look at me. This day he did this. This day he did that. And I was talking to you and you did absolutely nothing. And that's why it's where it is. I'll tell you what now, if I was a coach and a kid presented me with proof, and I have a no fighting policy, and a kid presented me with proof that he's been trying to get this kid to stop. And finally, he had a bad day, did something that he knew he should have not did, and physical altercation occurred. You got to give the kid a break. It's as simple as that. You know, we give breaks for kids that sexually harass girls, and we can't give a kid that defends himself against a bully after months and months of talking about that. There's something wrong with this world. Well, that's going to do it for me. I want to say thank you, T, for your question. I appreciate it. Keep those questions coming. You know, pretty soon we're going to have to call this live feed from questions from T in Australia. And I really do appreciate that. And you other guys that have been giving me questions, yes, I haven't forgotten about you. Thank you, too. Thank you all. So remember to subscribe, right, to this Spotify channel. Remember to comment. Remember to like. And most of all, remember to share this with someone who's had a similar situation happen to them. Okay, that's when we know that we're not alone in this world of bullying, we can deal with it better. So let's all team up together and help each other. Send this video to someone that needs to hear it. Thank you guys. See you in the next episode. And remember, love you.